Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffe Kennedy, author of fantasy romance and romantic fantasy. Romance is not antimatter. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. I was noticing that I need to ring the chimes a little bit more strongly, and for winter, we will make a recording that I can play or something, or come out here in the snow and play it. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge. Right now, it's beautiful summer. Look at gorgeous summer behind me. My climbing uh, climbing hydrangea. So the climbing hyacinths or climbing hydrangea, both of which are misnomers, since it is truly a kind of clematis. And I like how my little garden path looks going up the hill under the crabapple tree. I need to plant some more flowering bushes along there. There are some, but wouldn't that spot underneath the lantern, that's a little candle lantern for evenings, that would be a good spot for something pretty, wouldn't it? So you all could gaze upon that if you get tired of looking at my face. Though, how is that even possible? So let's see. Today is, say it with me, Friday! Yay! Uh, July 16th. And there's a gnat flying around my head. Beautiful summer Friday morning. I got something a couple of weeks ago from the Inn of the Mountain Gods, I think. No, it was from a casino in Las Vegas. That's right, a casino hotel in Las Vegas. They sent us this like 2 weeks ago, saying summer is coming to an end, and things about fall weather. And I was like, I'm sorry, it's like summer is not coming to an end. We just had solstice. I don't really get the whole rushing summer to be over thing. Um, I saw a tweet a while back that was someone's hot take, as many tweets are. Um, I think some people are trying so fucking hard to be clever, trying to go viral, trying to get a lot of people's attention. But anyway, this person put out this tweet saying, basically saying that this was their hot take, like they'd had this amazing idea where they were positing that the reason that we were supposed to look forward to summertime was because that was when our working class ancestors, um, I can't remember what the reasoning was, got time off or something like that. Uh, now that I'm trying to recapitulate it, I can't remember the exact reasoning, but it was something like that they got that, like the reason that the summer break for school was, or from school, was so that we started out as an agricultural society and kids were let go from school in the US to go work the farms and so forth. So it may have been connected to that idea. Clearly, this was not a great hot take, but they were saying, that otherwise summer is such a shitty season that it's, so hot and so miserable and that everybody hates it. And there's no reason for us to otherwise have this cultural idea that summer's so great. And I declined to reply, which, that discretion is the better part of valor, especially when it comes to social media and especially when it comes to Twitter. But, I wanted to say, well, if you pulled your head out of your ass and realized that not everybody lives where you live. No doubt they lived in New York City, and there is me passing judgment and making a sweeping generalization, but it's like, okay, guys, I know New York City is miserable in the summertime. I've been in New York City in the summertime, and I know that y'all hate it. I know y'all do your best to escape it, but I realize that we have this conversation over and over, but not everybody lives in New York City. You guys think it's the center of the world when you live there, but it ain't. And sure, there are some parts of the country. Um, let's just confine it to the U.S. because right now it's winter on in the southern hemisphere, right? Winter in Australia. Um, people live in lots of places, and I love summer here. Summer in the Rocky Mountain West is fabulous. I'm sorry if it's not fabulous where you are. Um, move, move. You could always move. But these are people who are like. I always think of my friend back when I was in my very first critique group when I lived in Wyoming, where summer is also beautiful. Uh, and she said to me, did I ever worry about how I could become a writer and not because I didn't live in New York City? How was I going to do that? Was that something that kept me up at night? And I was like, not something that keeps me up at night. It's like, why do I need to live in New York City to be a writer? And she said, well, but there you would be in the center of everything. And it's like, there's so much fallacy to all of that logic. It's like, what I don't need to be in the center of everything to be a writer. I mean, don't you actually want to be uh, out in your cabin in the woods, in your garden in Santa Fe, to write books? Oh, I don't know. It's I enjoy visiting New York City. I enjoy aspects of visiting New York City, uh, but the tendency for New Yorkers to regard themselves as being in the center of the universe is perplexing and aggravating. So I didn't mean to get off on that particular rant this morning. Let's see. Writer Coffee was fun yesterday. We had a good conversation with the new manager of um, Beastly Books. He came and joined us, Twig, and it was fun chatting with Twig about possibilities for author events and reading series going forward. Um, I did not get much written on Dragon's Daughter yesterday. By the time I got back from Writer Coffee, I was feeling kind of drained. It could be the effect of trying to do this Kindle Vella book at the same time, which I knew that was a potential hazard. But I did rework my schedule as I was indicating that I might, because I do have room, and I was trying not to pack things in too tightly. Uh, Grace and I talked some yesterday too, which was really nice. It was we actually had like a pretty much day long conversation off and on Facebook Messenger, so that was really nice because we got to uh, catch up on some things and exchange opinions on stuff, which is always fun. Uh, it's one of the best pieces of advice I can give you all, which I realize is not an easy piece of advice to follow, but get you some author friends that you can talk to because it really does make a big difference. Just even talking about minor things about the industry, it's just great to get someone else's perspective. So we were just talking about our Kindle Vella books and how things were looking, and like the new KDP dashboard, and talking about the interesting thing. So Amazon is testing a new beta testing a new KDP dashboard, which shows the Kindle Vella um, statistics on it. So that's part of it. Hmm, that's a new hummingbird, a rust-colored one. Um, and it's got a lot of more snazzy functions. But one thing that it shows is you can see which of your books is just right there. It ranks your books in order of sales of which ones are selling best, and it's something that I track anyway. But it's really great to be able to snapshot it on Amazon, and they show it graphically, and you can look at lifetime sales. You can look at this month, last month. For all of the books that you have published through Amazon. So it is snazzy. I do like it. It's definitely a value add. And for me, I mean, it was no surprise that my top seller is Bright Familiar right now. Second is Dark Wizard. But it's interesting to see once I go a few down what else they are. Now I have a mosquito floating around here. Summer is terrible. Um, so we were just comparing it, and it's funny because Grace's top selling book is, I asked her what it is, and she said, yes. And I said, Radiance. And she said, yep. Radiance is, she said it's her workhorse. And I said, no, it's a sparkle pony. And she said that she was going to steal that. And I said, and that she would quote me. And I said, you are absolutely allowed to. It's funny because sparkle ponies came up at Writer Coffee yesterday. Emily and I were joking about sparkle ponies and whether or not Sifwa could give every author a sparkle pony. And Jack, who I interviewed on here, he said, I keep seeing the sparkle pony thing come up and I don't get it. What are you guys talking about? And and I'm not sure exactly if I got it from somewhere else, but I know that one of my very early crit partners, when we were submitting books and getting our first publications, that one of the things we talked about was how when you're a new writer, you think that getting published is going to come with a sparkle pony, that you are going to, have the magical sparkle pony and it's going to be awesome. And it turns out that you actually, even if you do get a pony, and we were all riffing on this, and Twig was pretty funny. He's like, yeah, a lot of times you might get the pony, but it's dusty and its hooves are split. And it's like, yeah, it's like maybe every writer does deserve a sparkle pony, but almost none of us actually get a sparkle pony. We deserve it. We don't always get what we deserve, right? But Radiance is Grace's sparkle pony. Um, and it's one of those things I've mentioned on here before, and it's something that she and I revisit. She's like, I wish I could write another Radiance. Because even she doesn't know why that book did so well and continues to do so well. And one thing I really love is Lexi Chantal is part of our SFF7 group. Hi, Lexi. I interviewed her on here too. She wrote the Mars Strain audiobook. But Lexi captures my podcast posts and puts them on Instagram. And I love her summations of what I talk about. They amuse me. And I can't remember what made me think of that now. What was I going to say, Lexi? Sparkle Ponies? Was it Sparkle Ponies? Grace? Well, there was something that she said on yesterday's that was funny. I might think of it yet. But, the whole idea of, she did, she captured something that I'd said and she put it in a good way. And I'm not going to be able to think of it now. But it's, that there is no formula. There's no instruction book. You can follow all the advice out there and you will not be able to create a phenomenon. And Radiance is a phenomenon for Grace. It might not be a phenomenon on the level of 50 Shades of Grey or Twilight or Harry Potter or that sort of thing. But for her, I mean, it is still her number one seller, and she does nothing to market that book, you guys. All of you who are talking about spending money on ads and how you need to do this thing or that thing, Grace does none of those things. That book continues to sell at an excellent level, entirely by it's just word of mouth and organic discovery. Or algorithmic discovery, but it's not an algorithm that she's feeding in any way. And And I know that I've seen other writers talk about this particular syndrome, like people who have had very, very successful books, and they say, that yeah, it would be nice to replicate that same success, but they don't know how because they don't know how why it did the first time. And I just feel like I feel like I'm hammering this point, but I think it's so important because I think on a fundamental level, people don't believe me when I say this because they think, well, surely there's something I can do, some way I can control this. But, witness that J.K. Rowling, and granted, she's not our favorite person since she's a turf, but she writes the mystery series under the pseudonym because she wants to write books. That's not a phenomenon like Harry Potter was, and if she could recreate the phenomenon, she would. Stephanie Meyer, she has not recreated the phenomenon that Twilight was. She probably would if she could. Um, that's the thing that's why we call it a phenomenon, is because it is something that happens outside of our control and understanding. I think that's why we, are fascinated by the idea of the deal with the devil, because it's like some supernatural force came in and made a thing happen. And it can be frustrating because I was talking with Agent Sarah, emailing with Agent Sarah some yesterday, and we were talking about some possibilities. And she was just a couple of the things she was saying that she was, conversations she had with editors. They were saying, this is doing well. Um, they bought this kind of thing, author with a platform. And that came up like 3 different times, author with a platform. And so, like Grace counts as an author with a platform. I do not count as an author with a platform, at least by that definition, because even though I have all of you and you are lovely people, and I have a platform, but I don't have a huge platform. And so that's why, like yesterday, I was laughing, and I did. That was kind of how the conversation got started with Grace, because I had to leave her this instant message saying, "How can you put up your fourth Instagram post ever and have?" By the time I looked at it, it was like 8 hours old, and she had 150 likes on it. It's like, I hate you. I hate you so much. And she's like, oh, she said, I always forget to do Instagram because I don't like doing stuff on my phone. I should go look at that. It's a good thing I love her because I hate her. Um, but that's part of what having a platform will do for you is, I mean, she and I might have an equivalent number of followers on Instagram, but hers are these passionate, rabid followers who are dying to hear anything from her and to get something new from her. Um, and how do you get that? There's all these things, right? All these people doing this. Oh, let's do the newsletter swaps. I'll follow you, you follow me, all this stuff. That doesn't give you a platform. The platform comes from hitting a certain level of fame, and you trip over that threshold and it begins to grow itself. Um, and it's frustrating because, like when you have these conversations with your agent, if you have one, or if you're still trying to get an agent, or, with editors, or if you're trying to push your stuff self publishing and you're putting money into ads and all that kind of thing, it's like, well, how do I get a platform if I can't get my book out there? It's like it's the catch-22, right? You can't get a platform until you've built a platform, and you can't build a platform until you have a platform. And all I can say is that you just have to keep working at it. But my best advice is make it organic. Don't go for the shortcuts, because any of those things where you're just adding followers, um, there's all these people who will make you promises about how that works, and it's not real. It doesn't really work that way, you know. And the mark of it is, if it did work, they would they would be doing it, right? Let's do earrings. This may be our last set of earrings until I fix some others. Maybe I'll fix them this weekend. You never know, could happen. These are some little cowrie shells. I like them because they're sort of a teardrop shape with a swoop. I've had these forever. I bought them myself in like high school, I think. Maybe at like a craft fair even. I almost never wear them mainly because I forget about them. They're also kind of small, but I still haven't gotten rid of them. Haven't parted with them. So hopefully I'll get some more words today. Uh, I'm I am trying to be zen about it. I don't know when I'm going to add an episode to the Wedded to Darkness, but I need to be thinking about that too. And I got in the paper copies of Bright Familiar. They arrived yesterday, so I am going to get those shipped out. Uh, so I'm going to get things shipped out. Really need to get things shipped out. All right. I will remind you all that First Cup of Coffee is part of the Frolic Media Podcast Network, and you will find more podcasts you love at frolic.media/podcasts. Hummingbird Wars. Well, you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you on Monday. You all take care. Bye bye.